helping make your life easier. Moms Every Day.
Welcome to Moms Every Day. I'm your host, Jen Lennon. Today I'm joined by Tia and Rylan Blair. They are the owners of LightHouse Automotive. Welcome back, guys.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It is great to have you here because I have to be honest, I don't know a lot about my car, but you're teaching me every time. So,
we try.
Tia, what are we going to learn about today?
Today we're going to talk about our transmission.
Okay, so I have to admit, I know the transmission is in there and it's an important thing, but I don't really know what it does.
It moves the car forward and backward. Without your transmission, you don't go anywhere.
So it's kind of like gears, basically, like on a bike or something
Yeah, like
that.
gears on a bike.
Okay, all right, so that's obviously important. We want to be able to go forward and
yes.
backward. So Rylan, this piece of equipment, is it primarily mechanical, electrical? What's it comprised of?
Well, a transmission, it varies between year, make, and model.
Okay.
But it's a hydraulic pump, and so there's hydraulic fluid, which is transmission fluid.
Okay.
And a lot of times transmissions can be electrical. They can have their own computer, their mechanical gears inside, all types of components and parts.
Okay, so now Tia, I know when we talked about brakes, you gave me some significant warning signs to notice that your brakes
yeah.
need to be treated. What about a transmission? Is there anything we can look for or not really?
A transmission, the biggest thing that you can look for is the transmission fluid. So
Okay.
that's why it's a good idea to have it checked, because if the fluid actually looks burnt, then you're looking at signs of more transmission wear than you are otherwise.
So not really sounds or anything that we
Not
can
really. I mean,
latch onto.
Unfortunately, with the transmission, you know when it's going out and when
Okay.
it's no longer working, but the telltale signs are the beginning signs. The best thing you can do is look at the fluid.
Okay, so that's where maintenance then is really, really important. So Rylan, what should we be doing for our transmissions? If we're just getting oil changes, is that enough or does that have nothing to do with the transmission really?
Nothing to do with the transmission, really.
Okay.
A good service interval, most transmissions need to be serviced every 30,000 miles,
Okay.
depending on the year, make, and model. A lot of times they'll follow a service interval where they're going to do a transmission service versus a flush.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Well, when you do a transmission flush, you're going to put in the new fluid and pull out the old fluid with a flushing agent to clean the inside of the transmission.
Okay.
And then you put in a conditioner.
All right.
On a transmission service, you drop the pan, change the filter, put new fluid in, but you only get about 60% roughly amount of fluid that's switched out of the transmission.
So how often should you be having a flush versus a service?
Normally you would do a flush, you could do 3 flushes to every 1 service.
Okay, all right, so the flushes are happening more often.
That's correct.
Okay, got it, that makes sense. So if you think though that all this is getting covered just by a standard oil change, it's not, right Tia?
No, it's not. I
Okay.
mean, usually when the car comes in for the first time, we'll definitely check the fluids and make sure the transmission fluid looks good and your coolant fluid and all the other fluids. And that's even when we do the oil change. And
Okay.
that's because that transmission fluid is highly neglected.
And so Rylan, if you let that fluid go bad, or not go bad, but run down, that's where you're gonna get a transmission that burns out, is that the right term, or?
A lot of times what will happen is the fluid loses its lubricity rating.
Okay.
And it can't lubricate the parts inside.
All right.
And then it cooks the fluid, and then things start to melt and burn together, and then the transmission goes out.
Okay, all those words are words we don't want to hear around our car.
Catastrophic failure.
Yeah, and then all those nasty words that come out of our mouths when that happens. we
Oh,
don't,
you got that right.
Beep, beep, beep,
yeah,
beep.
we don't want any of that. So Tia, what are you guys offering at LightHouse to our viewers today?
Well, absolutely, we're more than willing to check the fluid for free.
Okay, great.
And then we'll do $20 off any transmission flush or transmission service.
Okay, so Rylan, remind our viewers where you're located.
We're located at 2499 East Platte Avenue, right on the corner of Platte and Boulder.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's keep those expletives out of our driving by getting in and getting our transmission checked out. Thanks so much, you guys. I appreciate the tips as always.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining me today and every day. I'm your host, Jen Lennon, for Moms Every Day.
Visit Moms Every Day online or on the go through our Moms Every Day app. Download it today to find local solutions for you and your family.